Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see Viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
I just checked in on the Dwarf male water cobra. He didn't eat last week because I thought he was opaque, and he probably was, because I think he's got a shed that isn't quite ready to come off yet, or may have come off or didn't come off for some other reason. Now, you know, he has a big water dish that he can actually curl up and soak in, but of course he doesn't do that because that would be the correct way to do it. So I'm going to annoy the hell out of him and pull him out. And I'm going to throw him in the bin with some nice water. Oh, he doesn't like that, does he? Well, you ended up exactly where you need to be anyway, despite your foulness. So go ahead and soak for a little while. Now, don't come up to the top, you dumbass. Alright, so let's put this little hut exactly back where it was, and while he's in there, I'll just spot clean the cage. Ready to go back in there after he's soaked. We'll see if he needs to be tubed and then handled and peeled a little bit. Sort of assess that situation when the time comes, but for now it's just cleaning up some feces, some processed rat, condensed rat. Actually, he's a mouse eater. All these glamorous things that one does when you keep snake. At least it's not some mass that you need a backhoe for, like Rhino Viper or Gaboon Viper.
Well, I can tell you one thing, we're not going to be holding hands anytime soon.
Yes, I will go wash my hands in a minute or two. He is an escape artist, so he does have a lock on his cage. And actually, Vision came out with this new glass sliding system. And it actually is so much better than the old plastic, and it's really quite slick. So we really want to make sure that he's in there when we put him in there, and he is not going to come out like he did once and wreak havoc in the room here. So we'll let him soak for a little bit, and then we'll come back and get him. Alright, Mr. Water Cobra been soaking for a little while. Now let's see. I believe he is in. Oh, he's in a pudding flattening mood.
Oh my, look how flat he is, my goodness.
Something tells me he's not going to go willingly into this tube, which actually may be a little bit on the small side for his noodle. Huh? Is that the case? Huh? Oh, it's very foul. Let me get a slightly bigger tube. tubed him before? I don't know. But he's certainly not interested in being tubed. Off the side, just like that. He's playing a game, how long you hold your breath. Yes, it's best to give me some wiggle room.
Yep. Getting out of the way. I know how quickly these guys can move. And I don't want to be in the way.
Cobras can move very fast.
He is not going to make it easy for you.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. We'll just put him in his cage and let him sort it out. Go that way, dude.
Oh, look at that. He's wrapping himself around the hook. There.
All right. Well, he got a nice soak. I'll let him maybe rub his face. He's shooting around the cage like a rocket. Maybe he will rub his face and remove his shedding on his own. But you got a drink of water. His skin got hydrated, so maybe he'll remove the skin himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, he is pissed.
Yes, he is not a happy camper. All right, so I'm going to clean up and move on to the next animal I have to work with. So this is the blunt-nosed pit viper. Came from Uzbekistan in 2006. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to obtain more of these because these are really cool snakes. Hello, how are you? Your nose looks plugged. How did you manage that? Huh? I guess it's a blunt plug nose viper now. Go away, whoever's calling me, which is probably spam. Would you like this? Are you going to take it nice or are you going to slam it? Well, that was a miss. I tell you, my snakes malfunction on a regular basis. At any rate, he's from Uzbekistan, and he's a blunt-nosed pit viper, Macrovipera leventina tyrannica. They're quite beautiful, and I've seen them much more attractive than him, but I used to have a trio, but now the trio is down to one. Unfortunately, wasn't able to breed them because they require a brumation, and we weren't able to achieve a low enough temperature. Because in Uzbekistan, if you look at Uzbekistan in the map, it's out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Central Asia, like, you know, between Russia and China. It gets very cold there in the winter, and we weren't able to get their temperature cold enough to hibernate long enough and then bring them back up safely. We tried, but they just didn't get cold enough to become fertile, so we were never able to reproduce them. Sadly, because they're a very cool snake, they're beautiful, and they have good personalities, and we like personalities, even though sometimes they malfunction and don't snake correctly. We still love them. We're gonna feed the sharp-nosed pit viper, who I think is already anticipating something to eat. Give him his space. Again, this is known as the 1,000 pace snake, or short-nosed, long-nosed pit viper. Denicistrodon. It's found throughout China and actually in Taiwan. They have very, very potent necrotizing venom that it's one of the ultimate, what I would call finger rotters, but these things don't rot just your fingers, they'll rot an entire hand or arm. He's due to go off feed. As you can see, he's not a very good housekeeper. He's pooing up on top of his hide box, so as soon as my associate Dan is back from vacation, we'll have to pull him out and clean up his cage, because he's not the sort of snake that I really want to do on my own. You know, I gave him the trap box so he would go in there, so this would be easier, but if the snake doesn't go in the trap box and use it, you can't possibly take advantage of it. It's like, you know, screw you, Mr. Viperkeeper, I know this trick. It's a trap.